Hey everyone, this is DayTraderRockStar, and yes, I want to do a video for you tonight. This video is, kind of a, I don't even know what you'd call it. I'm forcing myself to do this. I've been here pretty much since 8:30 this morning, Friday, and it's about getting on closer to 10 o'clock now, and I just put out an HPS watch list video, and I always try to get something out to the YouTube audience. You know, the non-members, I like to call them, the non-members, not the people, because I dedicate so much time to Day Trading Radio and the subscribers that support the station, and but YouTube is such a good vehicle to kind of show what we do there. So I want to continue to show this, and I'm going to continue to show this, and it's just great to be able to have a method that constantly, as long as you could bring the patience and the discipline, I will bring the setups. You see this. You see this happen week after week. It's very easy also to see when we step outside our boundaries and when things could go wrong. But right now we're running on all cylinders are going really well, and the market is ripping. A lot of people will say it's not that easy to lose money in a market like this. Yeah, I agree. You want to be able to understand what side of the market you're on. And that's what we try to do. The setups that I bring to you, the HPS setups, are based off of technical levels that converge at certain points. These are patterns that repeat over time, and each and every day I show you that same similar pattern that repeats every time, and you see the reaction real time. And that's what's great about Day Trading Radio. You could do that for free. But what you can't get for free is the ultimate setups. Now, I used to give out the kick-ass trade of the week. I didn't get one out last week. Let's take a look at what we have here. This is just some notes from the recent video I did. But last week, and again, this doesn't help you now that it's last week, but just the education portion of this is so important, because eventually something's going to stick and you're going to realize, hey, this continues to work out. I want to pay attention. I want to start, trading better quality stocks. I'm going to get out of that penny crap. I'm going to get out of things that I'm hoping and guessing at, but now I'm just going to react to certain rules that have been placed in front of me, certain criteria we want to have happening, and we're just going to let that come to us. And with it coming to us, we're going to get the best risk-reward trade out there, and that's the important part. Everything else, when you deal with money, there's greed, there's fear. It's basically an impossible task to not be swayed by the markets, to get stopped out of your positions, to get greedy and hold too long. But the methodology here, you see, it happened over and over again. And when it happens over and over again, you finally, slowly start to gain that patience and say, well, you know what? I touched that hot stove too many times. I'm not going to do that again. Eventually, there's only going to be one way you're going to do it. I was taught my martial arts teacher growing up. It was important, it was for those out there, don't study martial arts. You can probably understand this as a mathematical problem. And famous movie star, kung fu martial artist Bruce Lee would also explain this very logically, and that's how the markets are. And the logic behind the martial arts is when you are tackling your opponent, or not even tackling is not the right word, but engaging in a conflict with your opponent, the important part is to strike before he strikes you and not get hurt. And you have to realize there's certain things that will always happen. Speed and power is always important, but the science behind everything, the science behind how fast you could get to a point, what leverages this. Everything works on a type of a science. It's nature. It's embedded in everything that we look at. Flowers and shells and the tides and the moon and the rotation and the seasons. Things have a growth and they have a pullback, and a growth and a pullback. And it's it's just amazing to see that. And when you're able to respect that and see it and not try to second guess it, then it works for you. You can make it work for you. So I've identified, certain areas in the market that we look for over and over again, and just having the patience to get to those areas is half the battle. Being stuck in front of your computer all day long and waiting for something, it's very hard not to push a button and say, I want to go here, I want to try this. But the real good setups, what we call high probability setups, don't come around every single day, but when they come around, you know what? This is what we specialize in. That's what I specialize in, because I've realized it for the last 20 years how important it is to, take those trades. Those are the great trades. And they happen. And when they happen, I classify them as an HPS setup, and I send them out to the members, and it's history from there. You could go to, if you watch the show, a lot of people watch the show, you know what I'm talking about. So, taking a look at a couple stocks, ABBV, I'm going to throw you a bone. A very good stock. Recent IPO. It's a spin-off. I keep on talking about the spin-off on ABBV. And pharmaceutical company. Where did that spin off from? I just wanted to go back on that for a second. All right, it was spun off from Abbott Laboratories, Abbott Labs. All right, so we got that down. And again, a good. Whenever they have these spin-offs, these spin-offs usually are money makers. So identifying a good HPS setup, which we recognize here as a nice flag, oversold stochastic, the flag formation above the 50-period moving average, key above the trend line, key. It's a go-to trade, and this was a kick-ass trade right off of this lower trend line last week, and it continues to work, and it will continue to work. The same thing with MSG. That was the second one, and this one is called the channel breakout stochastic rotation. Now, if you look at the page, if you go to DayTraderRockStar right now, let me see if I can actually bring that up for you fast on this side. I'll give you a little view of it, but you can get it. It's all, this is the things I put out here at the end of the week as a kind of recap. I'm going to go over to the DTRS show here and take a look at some of these charts that I'm posting. Again, you'll see this. You go there, daytradingradio.com. Just go there. Here is your setup on what we were just looking at, the Madison Square Garden. And what this is again, I'm just going to take a different look at it here. Same thing, but recognizing a channel breakout stochastic rotation level. And this is where you can find this chart. Just go to DTR Radio, you'll see it. This is a very important pattern I continue to key on. First of all, we had a couple patterns that we traded off of this. MSG was a perfect coil stochastic lower trend line breakout. Then we talk about a stochastic rotation. Whenever we have a breakout of a channel, we would take the first rotation back into an oversold level. Combined with the 200, that makes it an HPS setup because it is a recognizable pattern. We have an oversold stochastic. We have an underlying trend line. We have a little divergence happening. So these are little things that we all add to the formula and that we want to take. And again, this is defined in the School of Stock on the forum. This setup in its by itself is a great setup, and that's what we're looking for. So right now, going forward, Cabela's is an HPS setup was kind of a coil stochastic off the lower trend line. We look for it to break through the trend lines, recognize it, trade it, and this is a new technique. Not a new technique, but just a classification of a trade. It's called a money in the bank trade. Put a space between in and the. But money in the bank trade was when we recognize a trade. That it's gonna be a fantastic trade. It's a quality name. We know that the trend is up. We have have a breakout of a channel. We take that first rotation. So this trade down that gets filed on the site. I continue to look back at it. It's a daily. We know it's not going to set up in a daily for a while, but I'll have it on a list of stocks. I have it in the alerts. They'll alert me when the stochastics pull back. When that alert comes to me, it comes to you. And then we're set up for stochastic channel breakout stochastic rotation trade. Money in the bank. This is money getting ready for us to take it out right here. And I love these type of setups. And this is what we're going to concentrate on. As the market continues to fluctuate and push higher, certain setups will come into play. We went over on the watch list today. All the flags that we're setting up. The Visa flag that we took profits in today, breaking out of the flag. The Amgen, AMGN, riding that flag to the upside. Dollar General, DG. These are all flags, and you have to recognize how to trade a flag in a market like this. Pushing new highs on the session. Visa. Oh, we did that. God, there's so many good ones, And that's what it's about. And it's exciting to be in these markets these days. Valet. X marks the spot. Type of trade. That's a very good trade. We talk about two trend lines converging at one, understanding the pivot areas, understanding the oversold stochastics. This is a fantastic level on this. So these are all setups that you're going to be seeing each and every day. And again, a lot of people tune in for live. coverage of it, and I don't mind just reviewing anything that anybody brings to me. But the quality stuff goes out on the weekend. We know our setups. We know what the best bet is for next week. I already gave you a hint. ABBV continues to be the best bet, but you could have been in down here from last week. And the other best bet, well, you know what? Last week was Madison Square Garden, which was the channel breakout stochastic rotation setup, and you can see this performing perfectly. So these are going to continue to come out. And I guess, you know what? Monday, I put out again, a video, and we talked about our trades. Well, you know what? There's so much to go over. I'm going to go over a couple more things. All right? A couple more things. The Verizon. Intraday. If you're serious about trading, and you're looking for those setups, intraday, when we identify a multiple time frame setup on a quality name, and we at the moment it is set up, we take that trade. We talk about it, we take it. I mean, this was Verizon today. This was Xilinx. Here it was right here. It was a 60-minute stochastic reversal with 15 and the 5-minute all lined up, and the lower trend line. Made an HPS setup. From that point on, it was off to the races. All right. Called that to just about to the quarter, and then we're talking about what was the other one we just got? Oh, the Xilinx XLNX. And again, pointed it out as it was happening. Discuss it, write it up on the charts. This is all live during the day. All live during the day. You can just tune in, and you can see where we got in, where it went, added to it. It's still going to go higher. It's going to be a great trade. Perfect channel breakout stochastic rotation. This was a previous trades. But what we're seeing right now is a lower trendline bounce coiled stochastic setup. Very powerful for a break higher. This one's money in the. We already got money in the bank on this one. So these are the type of setups you're going to see. It's almost like a self promotion today. But you know what? I'm excited. I'm happy about how everything works out every day. I don't mind throwing these things out to you. Like I said, ABBV probably the best bet next week. Get into it. It's going to go higher. The only thing that's going to probably stop this market right now is probably a sudden news burst of some negative news that's pretty intense. I don't know what it's going to be, but it's not going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen. Probably in this month. But we'll pay attention going into the end of part of the month. Next week, I want to concentrate on a scalp for you. We had so many great scalps this week. I mean, 2 days in a row we took a scalp in DDD. Let's not forget about that. I don't even post the option trades. DDD, again, the squeeze here was on. It was a momentum trade. So every time we had an opportunity in this one, we just took it. Understood that we had a little gap down the other day, and we just took that for a ride. And then we got in the day before. We got into it and took it for a ride. Continued to look at. But now we have a great trade coming up in Lululemon. Now, this again I will do live on the air Monday. But this actually looks really good. We're on the lower trend line, 3 pivot underlying trend line, and what we're seeing here is what we call a lane divergence, a lane stochastic divergence. Lane, the originator of the stochastic oscillator here, talked about the divergence as as the true way of not just taking the overbought and oversold level, but more looking at the price reaction versus the stochastic reaction. And the stochastics here, you see a little spike lower here, and we're trying to turn back up. So, when we have a spike lower and then you take out the lows, but the stochastics don't make new lows, that's the lane divergence, and we're going to look for this to push back up. So I think we have a good opportunity here on Lululemon, depending if we get that follow through on that divergence. And this will be concentrated on this early Monday also. So what else do we have for you today? That's about it. For those out there who might be going out to Vegas for the trade show, there's a Vegas trade show coming up. It'll be this November 20th. We'll be there for 4 days, and we'll be meeting up with all the members and stuff. We have a poker tournament, and we have again, usually I do a nice little get together at a local establishment, Jimmy Buffett's or the Seahorse thing. So if you want to stay in touch with me, get to the site. and look for that information. All right, it's getting late. Like I said, 10 o'clock, we need to get something to eat here. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope to see you on the show, and look forward to Monday. And good night.